Luke's Gospel, chapter number 15. Luke's Gospel, chapter 15. And I take my reading from verse 11. For clarity and decorum, I would have loved to read all through to verse 31. But for time, I will just skip from verse 11. This was the word of Jesus himself. And he said, a certain man had 2 sons. Please, in your Bible, underline 2 sons. This man just had 2 sons. I want you to take note of that. And the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that falleth to me. And he divided unto them his living. And not many days after the younger son gathered all together and took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living. Somebody underline wasted. May we not live a wasted life. So, I've preached over and over on this, but a few days ago, the Lord still led me here, and I was learning new things as I studied. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in that land. Please, underline mighty famine. From arose. Because usually people don't think about the future. They just think things will always be like the way it is. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in that land, and he began to be in want. He began to be in want. And he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent him into his fields to feed swine. Move ahead. And he will fain have filled his belly with the husks that the swine did eat. Finally, I'm just going to stop there for time's sake. Underline, and no man gave him. No man. Precious Father, bless the reading and the teaching of your word. Bless our hearts and let your word produce positive response from us for a better life in Jesus' name. My message is titled, Come Back Home. Come back home. There is something called home, and we all have home. There's something called home. And in different perspectives, your hometown is a home. The house you live is a home. For those who truly belong to this church, this is home for us. When we come, this is home. After the service, no matter how much you love me, you won't follow me to my house. You go to your home. There is something called home. Know the value of your home. Your home is a place of comfort. It's your comfort zone. It may not have all the paraphernalias of all those sparking, all those beautiful things. You may not have it, but it's still your home. Home represents a place of rest. When you go to the market to buy stuff, and you wake up as early as 6 a.m., you go to Pata, you go to market, you go to ShopRite, wherever you go. By the time you shop and shop and shop and shop and buy, where do you come back? You come back home. Have you ever seen anyone who is so rich who now went to the market and buying and buying and buying? He said, I'm not going home, I'm going to sleep in the market. Nobody does that. So there is a place, there is something about home. When you travel, go to Dubai, go to America, Atlanta, New York, you travel to different places of the world, enjoy yourself, go to China, you still come back home. My immediate elder sister lives in Indiana. And I remember anytime I visit her, I just feel like coming home. Where is the home? The home is in Basin Gate. If you see where they live, posh. But you see that one, she's always talking about it. There's an attachment. No, nothing can take home. It's not Kojorawo. Home is just home. Many times she says, I'm tired of this place. That's where you are rushing to go. Sometimes almost with tears. She lacks nothing. No. Everything is free medical, everything. And yet, I wish I could. Because there's something about home. If you are lodged, I've been lodged each time I go to preach, and I'm lodged in a superfluous hotels. Hey! But it's still not like home. I've been to Ghana where a church paid to lodge me in Presidential Hotel when I got there. Many years back. They had lodged, and I got there, and the protocol took me there. And when we got to the place, they said this. I said, me? They said, yes. So when I had the reception saying $200 per night, I said, I'm not sleeping here. It was like joke. I did not sleep there. I said, please take me to another hotel far cheaper. They thought I did not. They begged and begged. By the time we finished all the meetings after 4 days, they came and greeted me and said, you are different. That some pastors will say it's still not their class. I said, that's them, me. I didn't sleep there. The Presidential Hotel in Accra, Ghana. You pay from church money to put me. I'm not going to sleep. I didn't sleep there until they changed it. I did not. So no matter how posh the hotel, wherever they put you, after all, I will still come back to Saboki and come back to that tank. Are you getting it? Home is home. I'm just trying to describe to you how home is. If you go holiday, go anywhere, home is final destination. And as we have home here, we also have home somewhere. After all the wranglings on this earth, all the push in this earth, we're still going to live here and go to home above. This world is not our home. Buy all the things, right? Have the best of jets. We are going to leave them here and go back home. This is not home. You want to live long? May God give you 100 years more. You will still go back home. There's nothing we can do about that. Home is home. And I want to use the storyline of this young man as my case study to really bring us into what the Lord is putting in my heart. Go back to verse 12 of Luke 15. Luke chapter 15 from verse 12. Okay, go to 11. The story says, a certain man, had 2 sons. No girl, just 2 sons, just 2. And I guess within me that this man was a very rich man. He was a rich man. He had farms, he had companies, he had wonderful things. He was a rich man. He had just 2 sons. And then the younger of them said to his father, note that, the younger one, I have always known that young people misbehave. Young people don't think about the future. Young people are impatient. Young people are in a hurry. They are always in a hurry. Young people don't think about tomorrow. They just want to gratify the flesh now, enjoy life now. Young people don't want to stay and learn. They are always in a hurry. This young boy has an elder brother. Let's assume he was 16 at that time, and the older one is maybe 22. Even the older one has not said anything. The younger one. Why is it that it's the young people who misbehave? The young people want to get rich at all cost. The young people want to do terrible things. Young people. It will be rare for you to find a 70-year-old man trying to do rituals to get money. It will be hard. Because at that time he's struggling with his health, back pain, this, that, you know. He's not. Ask our mothers. They are not even thinking about what it's about. Hey, need this, that, you know. But you see young people, always in a hurry. They don't test. They don't examine. Anything goes. Young girls, they want flashy. I once told you a story when I was with the police commissioner of Kwara State some years back for talks on Christian issues. And when we finished, I was going down and suddenly I heard the noise of like police beating a young boy. And I was hearing the noise. The boy was crying. And I felt touched. So I stood. I said, police officer, why, please, please, please. And the man said, sir, if you know what this young man did, this young boy did, you will ask us to beat him more. So I said, what did he do? He hacked into his father's account through his father's phone, who just retired, and took, was it 200,000, if I'm correct, took money, and took the money. It took time for the father to discover. By the time he took the money, is that correct? No. Is it good to steal? No. Now, he took the money, no problem. He now went and borrowed 150,000 again from somewhere to buy iPhone. Young people. Young boys that are here, young girls that are here, don't be in a hurry. Don't lose your home. When I heard, I didn't know what to say, whether they should continue, because I just didn't know what to say. And the younger of them said to his father, give me the portion of goods that falleth to me. And the next thing you see, and he divided unto them his living. Now, the question was, why will this father also just respond to that request? These were my thoughts as I was meditating. Why will this father respond to this 16-year-old boy or 18-year-old boy or 15-year-old and will just listen to him like that? But I began to feel that the boy must have been troubling this. It's not just that day, I guess. Give me my portion. And when the man got tired, maybe this particular day, he shouted the more, give me my portion. And the man simply divided and gave unto him his living. People of God, this young boy was not mature. He's still growing. He doesn't know what tomorrow holds. He's still not matured. They are always in a hurry. And they think life will always be. So he got all his things. Young people, wherever you are listening to me, don't let the things that push you out of your home. When I'm talking about home now, don't just live. When you allow, the presence of the Lord is home for me. His protection for me. His covering for me. Why would you get out of that? Why? Physical building, when I say home. Home is where you find comfort of the Lord. Peace of the Lord. The bless God's good pleasure. Really for it. Scripture says, it was not time for this young boy to leave the home. It was not time for him to get out of the house. He left the house when it was not time. Remember, the Bible says he has made all things beautiful in his time. He left. When you live out of God's presence, you are your own. When you don't recognize home through the guidance of the Spirit to guide you, you are on your own. Quite many times people have suggested things to me and I would just not. I once told you how I've met people when I was young as 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, meeting, national stars like Sonia Ade, Ebenezer Obey, and they saw my gifts. And I remember one wanted me to stay in Lagos and be with him because he was traveling all over the world. They wanted my gift. I was well known in that circle. One-on-one with Sonia Ade, one-on-one with Ebenezer Obey, one-on-one with Orlando, all of them like that. And many other Christian artists will come one-on-one. And that time I was suffering and struggling. No future yet. And one of them, seeing my gift, wanted me in Lagos. And I sat in his office one-on-one. Beautiful offers. I just checked my spirit. I was not led. And I came back to Ilorin. If I had done that, but today I'm grateful for the leading of the Lord. Don't leave home. Home is not number 10 Downing Street. Home is the presence of God. And when you leave that home, when God is not instructing you, you're on your own. God had a home for me here, but something pushed me to Lagos out of pressure, of invitation. But I checked it. I said, no. This is not the home. So I came back. I refused all the offer, fantastic offers. Today I have no regret. If you leave the presence of God, where you do what you like, where you're not guided, where anything just goes, you are on your own. The prodigal son did not value his father. If you value your father, you don't talk like that. Value your father. When God is saying, don't marry that lady, value your father. When God is saying, don't marry that man, value your father. Psalm 32 verse 8 says, I will teach thee. I will guide thee in the way that you will go. The Bible says the way of a man is not in himself. It is not of him that walks to direct his steps. So when God is saying, don't go this way, and you go, you have got out of home. I've told you not to limit Home, as into your home address in Tanke. No. The presence of God is home. That's where you're protected. That's where you're provided for. That's where you're hidden. Don't allow anything, no pressure, no annoyance, don't allow it to drive you out of home. You remember Jonah? Jonah, go to Nineveh. That was home for him at that time that God wanted him to be. Where did he go? Tarshish. You know the story? God prepared a fish, not enemy from the village. So most of the time people are praying, all enemy, searching for my glory. You are just wasting your time. Sometimes I just look at obedience is key. He went to Tarshish, and at Tarshish, what happened? The Lord prepared a big fish that swallowed him. I've said to you before, from the day I have been born, and Bible days, it is man who eats fish. Fish doesn't eat man. When you see fish eating man, something is wrong. In your own geja. The moment you leave the presence of God, you have left your covering. You have left home. Go back to my text because I actually want to pick one by one. The prodigal son did not value home. And he did not value his father. There is a strong tie in the home and with your father. Don't lose it. I just want to pick some points. It's like a teaching. Just pick some points of what I saw that's not right, that we should learn from. He was the younger brother. It's not time yet. It wasn't time. Go back to verse 12. I just want to pick some points when I was studying again. The first thing I wrote down is he was a young person. So young people have problem dealing with time. They're always in a hurry. They have to kill that thirst for unnecessary grafting of the flesh. You have to kill it. You just have to kill it before it kills you. Do you know how many young girls were slaughtered in hotels when they told them, come and get an iPhone? We read of one that left Port Harcourt to Lagos because she was promised, as good as it is, what is the worth of iPhone to your life? Be careful. That you want to gratify your flesh, take it easy. Slow down. It's not everything that glitters that is gold. Proverbs 16:25 says, there is a way that seemeth right to a man, but the end are ways of destruction. So he was a young man. Young people, even those who are 50, but you are young in the spirit, don't just do bala, bala, bala. You can be 50-year-old, and yet when it comes to spiritual matter, you are a boy. Another thing I saw, and the younger of them said to his father, give me. You see, I have noticed in a relationship, in a church, in the family, anywhere you are, don't live a life of give me. You see this, give me, give me, give me, give me. What do you offer? What do you have to give to the home? The boy should have given his energy more and more to serve the father. So when you see people, give me, the spirit of give me, give me, give me. When you see people, give me, give me, they have nothing to offer. You must break that spirit inside of you, the spirit of give me. When somebody gives you water, give you water, give you, it's not you to give the person water. Giving is reciprocal. When somebody gives you love, also give back. It's not, we're not even talking about money. When somebody is giving you in a relationship, what are you giving back? You can see what your husband is doing for you. What are you giving back? You can see the sacrifices your wife is making. What are you giving back? But you see, the young man was selfish. Give me! It's a bad spirit. Spirit of give me, give me, give me. Most of them won't have nothing to offer. No energy to offer. No advice, nothing. Don't just be in a place and all you want is give me, give me, give me, give me. It's not a good spirit. And that was his problem. All about it. Give me! Just for himself. Don't have that kind of spirit. It wasn't time for him to leave. It was not the right time. It was not the good time. I've quoted it before. Ecclesiastes 3:11. For he has made all things beautiful in his time. Let me use this analysis. When you see a pregnant woman, medical personnel will know at least that the mature time is 9 months for delivery, and sometimes short 2 weeks, and sometimes 2 weeks more or 4 weeks more. It happens. Except in rare cases when it spills to 11. But when you see a pregnant woman and goes to the doctor, doctor, I'm sorry, I'm feeling pains all over my body. This 5 months pregnancy, I'm tired of it. I want to deliver now. Hello? You can imagine how that child will look like? Premature is the word, eh? You even see something terrible like that. There's something about time. When you get a freedom when it's not time, the freedom will kill you. There is time for everything. When you see a woman who says, oh, I've been feeling pain, I can't go, I can't bear it again, I want to deliver now at 6 months, you tell the woman, you endanger your life, you endanger that child's life. But he says, I want to have it now. Okay, you will have it. But it's not going to be funny. You may have to carry the tail forever and ever. So, this young man was in a hurry. He didn't wait for his time. Wait for your time. You are in transit. You lack now. It's not going to be like that forever. There was a time I was in this town. I was a houseboy on 2 different occasions. At another time, I was petrol attendant. At another time, I was taxi driver. I did many things because I know where I'm coming from a poor home. I needed to go and survive. So it pushed me into a lot of things. Sometimes God will even allow these things to make us mature. That you are suffering now does not mean that's the way it's going to be. There is a time when people are hungry. There is a time they have more than enough. Go and read Ecclesiastes chapter 3. To everything there is time. A time to lack, a time to have, a time to be born, a time to die. There is time. Sufferings don't go for long. Also, enjoyment don't go for long. There is a time you have so much in your pocket, and there is a you are low. So prepare for every season, prepare for every time. And the younger of them said to his father, give me the portion of good that falleth to me. And he divided unto them his living. I'm yet to understand why this man, the father, gave him. And he was given. For people like me, God said, I know Abraham, my son. He will, it's not even instruct, he will command his children. If you know the way I deal with my children, I'm a different person when you see me in church. But when it comes to, sometimes I say, anyone who dares in this house put pin in her nose, I will lock, you will not enter. You just ask them. I don't need to be. So the ones I do here are just small ones. At a point they didn't, but now they understand. Now when they're anywhere, thank God. Sometimes they say, Dad, is there anything wrong? I say, in this house, one day we were doing Bible study. I said to them, children, on your wedding day, I told them, if you put this thing, I will walk out of. I told them. I said, you know me. I don't just talk. If you put it, I said, be natural as you are. If you try it, I will walk out. I told them. So anyone that wants me to walk out, you choose this or walk out. That's me. It's not that we're just trying to control so that, because if you give them one step, this generation, God testified about Abraham. I know Abraham, my son. He will command his children. There's a difference between command and advice. By the time you advise, and I advise, and you say there is nothing, I will now command. Okay, in my own house, you cannot do this. At least this is my house. You met me in this house. God brought you. Go your way. But for as long as you are in this house, you cannot do this. In my house, under my roof, you put pin in your. If God wants pin there, you should have put it. There are certain things. It's not as if. It's just because of the ethics of ministry and being a light of the world. How can I be preaching? So I don't accept it. So if I see anybody in this church, any lady, who put pin, you are worshiping here, we won't drive you, but you are not connected. You are not my daughter. You are not my son. I know them. You're on your own. It's not right to ask anybody to leave the church. No. But when you say, Daddy, you know who is your daddy. I know. So there was one person here, he's always sending, maybe privileged to have my number. We'll be sending one, I don't want to mention the name, one preacher like that will just be sharing with me. And I asked, do you share our own as a church? So one day he was hungry and he needed money. He came to the office. I said, go and meet Pastor J now. Go there. I'm just blunt. I just tell you. Go there. Young people, be patient. Don't be in a hurry. He got what he wanted. Give me! And they gave it to him. That you were giving does not mean you will have it. God told me this specifically yesterday. He was giving. But the fact that you were giving does not mean you will have it. Does not mean you will retain it. So be careful. He got it. Now, go to verse 13. After he got it, not many days after, the younger son gathered all together and took his journey. into a far country. I've once told you, the far country is not necessarily Dubai. The far country is not necessarily Atlanta or India or London. The far country is in your head here. You can be seated here and yet you're in a far country. It's not about Lagos. It's not about Port Harcourt. Far country is here. When your mind is cut off from home, the presence of God, you are in a far country. Let me simplify it. If you're still drinking, you are in a far country. If you are fornicating, you are in a far country. If you're committing adultery, you are in a far country. If you are still changing figures in your office, join them, change figures, come here, speak in tongues, bala bala bala, you are in a far country. If you come here, speak in tongues, and you're a hypocrite, you do something else, you are in a far country. Let's delve into a little bit about far country. If you are here and you are watching pornography, you are in a far country. If you are smoking anything or sniffing anything, you are in a far country. And far country is dangerous. I have to cut down. And not many days after, the younger son gathered all together and took his journey into a far country. And there, wasted. Jesus Christ, somebody shout, wasted. Hey, may I never waste my life. May I never waste my life. You are worthy of my worship. Hey. Hold on. He took his journey into a far country. And there wasted his substance. How? With the rioters living. Oh boy, don't do that. When I was growing up, God helped me from as a teenager. I didn't do that. By the grace and the mercy of God. And I know what I benefit today, and that's what I'm sharing with you. He took his journey into a far country. The truth is, the moment you find yourself in a far country, you are going to waste. Because the spirit of the far country, the spirit of wastage. Spirit of wastage. I'm so used to that. Please, don't waste anything. And there wasted his substance. Now, if you made a mistake by leaving home when it was not time, by not honoring your father, by breaking your tie and say, I want to go, give me. Okay, now that you are giving, why must you waste it? He went into a far country and there wasted his substance with riotous living. Let me just tell you a little bit about the wastage. I wrote some things down. Life of wastage is delicate, is dangerous. For example, for those of you who are civil servants, you have monthly fixed salary. Some 35, some 40,000, some 50,000. And if you're lucky, you and your husband are working under the government, maybe you earn 50, now 100. I must tell you that what is 100,000? Does it buy a bag of rice? So why must you waste it? This is not the time to be taking gele every week. That's the truth. That's the truth. You know how much you spend on, must you attend every wedding? And if you have to attend, wear what you have. If they chase you out, say thank you. Then you leave the place. Don't live a life to please everybody. When the church started, I told mommy, I said, anybody that is getting married in this church, we, no gele, nothing. Wear our suit, wear. Because if you take for one and you don't take for one, they say you love one, you don't. So we don't do it. When I lost my father in this church, I didn't announce here. I did not announce. Except those who just closer, who knew. I did not announce. And I told all the siblings, wear jeans and put adire on top. The adire was not up to I think 2,000 as at that time, or less. That was all. We went and finished and came back. I could afford far more than that, but I did not. Who do you want to impress? You want to please everybody. Every week you must, and then you get debt upon debt. Why? Why? Please God, not man. I can't fear God and be fearing man again. No. The one to fear is God. And once you have that, sorry, I will wear what I have. If I come, drive me out of your, then I will quickly get back home and continue my study. Don't please everybody and get yourself into trouble. Wear what you have. Instead of this weekly debt, ask them, what's the color? Blue. Wear your own blue and come there. If you can afford it, just to be, no problem. But then you will get yourself into debt. He wasted his substance with riotous living. So I wrote some things down that you must not waste. Look at the time he left. Though before I mention those things, let me finish it. And not many days after, the younger son gathered all together and took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living. And when he had spent all, did you see that? He spent all. He spent all. No reserve, nothing. You have been working for 6 years. Everything came. You spent all. You are a problem to yourself. And a problem to your children. Don't spend all. You spent all. Now the next thing, there arose a mighty famine in that land. What happened? As soon as Tinubu came, what happened? What arose? There was an emergency. As soon as the man came, arose. There what? Arose. Whoever thought? People, as I'm talking to you, people now, they are not interested. I worship in Equa Church. Somebody said, no, that's what is happening now. By the time you look at you and your family who spend 3,000-4,000, let's eat with this one. Do you blame for the war? When he said, let's settle these guys up and give them food. You remember Yoruba adage that says, Ebi ki wonu? So, he spent all. And there arose a mighty famine. Whoever thought as soon as this man comes, things will be times 4? Come and see responsible people begging all over. Matty Park. To go for a public program now is problem for me. I'm telling you. I was in one yesterday. My uncle's daughter was getting married. I had to be there. Hey, at winners. Hey, they just surrounded me, asking for money. And these are people I've met some 10 years back. They are just, Hey, I had to cough out money. He spent all, and there arose a mighty wind, a mighty famine in that land, and he began to be in want. And this is the man, they gave many things, he carried all, went into a far country and wasted it. There is a time that comes that will be turbulent. Prepare for that. Don't live a life of wastage. He began to be in want. Move ahead. Please, you permit us. Normally, we are supposed to close 11:15, but because of this teaching, I want to complete it. We might have to have extra 15 minutes. Now, when you misbehave out of time, there is going to be a consequence. From verse 15, we began to see the consequence. And he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent him into his farm to feed swine. What's another name for swine? Pigs. Elede. And he will fain have filled his belly with the husks that the swine did eat. You see that? The consequence. This is worse. And no man gave unto him. Where are all those his friends that he lodged in the hotel, that they were enjoying life? Where are they? No man. Oh, wait. When your hand gets red oil, they will come and leak. Once you are finished, that's it. No man gave unto him. Be careful. Move ahead. And when he came to himself. But let me talk about wastage a little bit. Number one, he wasted his time. Write it down. Don't waste your time. What do you do with your time? Jesus said, now I must walk the works of him that sent me while it is day. For night cometh when no man can walk. Please don't waste your time. Your time. This guy, look at the time. He has wasted it. Number two, he wasted all efforts. Don't let me analyze. Number three, he wasted his strength. Look at the energy he used to pack all those things and go to Sudan. Look at the energy. Look at the energy. He must have hired like 3-4 vehicles because they gave him everything. 3 truckloads. Now drove to Kano. From Kano to Sudan. Look at, he wasted his strength, his energy. Number 4, he wasted his resources. Maybe he was given $10 million and he lodged all his friends. He carried Indian girl, Japanese girl, and he thought that was life. The worst aspect of this is no man gave him by the time Wahala came. No, he didn't see. All those guys that they were dancing Davido together. Maybe you know how to dance Davido. Okay, keep dancing. Oh, Nishi Jojo. He wasted his resources. Don't waste your resources. He wasted his gifts. Don't waste your gifts. He wasted opportunities. Don't waste opportunities. There will always be consequence of a life of waste. There will be consequence. Save for the rainy day. Plan for the rainy day. You see, one thing you must say to yourself. There are certain things that you suffered in your life that your children must not suffer. Your children's life must be better than your own. The Bible says a good man leaves inheritance for the children. All this one that we used to say, my more, I don't even pray it. You know why? It's not scriptural. It's good, but it's not scriptural. So I will be waiting for my children now to send me 50,000 to eat at this level. God forbid. A good man leaves inheritance for his children. If you be waiting for what your son or daughter will send to you from Abuja or from Lagos, after collecting 40,333 naira 52 kobo from this government, from there, and that's what you'll be waiting for, that's not a good prayer. When they bring, it's joy, that it's not that you are hungry. When they now bring, it's just happiness, not that. So change your mindset from, you are waiting for what your son or daughter will bring. No. You have and bless them. What's wrong if you buy a car for your son? What's wrong if you buy a car for your children? What's wrong when you build a house and give to them? Clap for Jesus. And that's what you will do. None of people under me here, you'll be asking, you will feed your children. You will give them leftover. If they give to you, they will know that this is just a privilege to give you. Not that you are waiting for 30,000 naira that they will send to you. No. If they bring, it's good, it's nice, but not that that's what you will now sit on. Great famine arose, and they began to suffer, eating what pork should eat. There will be consequences for a life of wastage. But as I close, let me just go straight to verse 31. Straight to verse 31. But there is something I skip. I don't want to skip it. Go back to verse 18. Just because I want to, I will not be satisfied until I mention that. Verse 18. So after suffering and saw that, you see, by the time he went to this man in that country, what I want to put there is somebody who is supposed to employ people now became employee. The father has farm, he has workers who he's an employer, he can sack this, and now because of his action, because of the consequence of his action, he now went to join himself with the man in that country, and that one sent him to his farm. See, a rich man's son who is supposed to be director, now he's an employee to be feeding swine, and they put camera there, in quotes, you get me what I mean? If he touch the food, so it's the one that the husk that drops, you quickly eat. And by Jewish tradition, they don't touch pork. Now he has to feed pork. You can see that. There is consequence for every wrong thing that we do. Now, this is the conclusion. And he said, I will arise and go to my father. That's a good decision. He had suffered defeat. He lost everything. Everything was wasted. But the good thing was, I will arise and go back to my father. And I will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee. Move on. And I'm no more worthy to be called thy son. Good, this is good. Make me as one of thy hired servants. So he has lost the position of sonship to be equal with Omodo. Don't lose your place. I love it. At least he made an effort. Now, verse 20 was the action. The first one I read, and he said to himself, I will arise. Those were the meditations of his heart. But at verse 20 was the action. And he arose. Somebody say, and he arose. And came to his father. But when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him. That is, he rushed. Not because he loved what he did, no. And he arose. But when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him. Move on. And the son said unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven. This is what God wants from us. And in thy sight, and I'm no more worthy to be called thy son. Move on. But the father said to his servant, bring forth the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand and shoes on his feet. And bring him hither the fatted calf and kill it, and let us eat and be merry. Move on. For this my son was dead. He was not actually dead as sin, but the actions put him in a dead position. For this my son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. And they began to be merry. Move on. Final word is coming now. Now his eldest son was in the field, and as he came and drew nigh to the house, he heard music and dancing. And he called one of the servants and asked, What's the meaning of this? And he said unto him, Thy brother is come, and thy father had killed the fatted calf, because he had received him safe and sound. And he was very angry. Don't blame him. He was very angry. This one didn't leave. He stayed with his father, working in the farm, doing all the work. Stayed with his father, taking care of the parents. So he was very angry and would not go in to celebrate with them. Therefore came his father out and entreated him. And he answering said to his father, Lo, these many years do I serve thee, neither transgressed at any time of thy commandment, and yet thou never gave me a kid, a goat. A kid is the name for a small goat, that I might make merry with my friends. You never did that. You never did birthday for me. He has the right to be angry. He's a man. But as soon as this thy son was come, which had devoured thy living with harlots, that's how we knew he was carrying girlfriends in the hotels. Thou hast killed for him the fatted calf. This is terrible. It was good he came back. It was good they did party for him. It was good. But look at. And he said unto him, Son, thou hast always been with me, and all I have is yours. So the guy has nothing again. Stand up on your feet. Even though he came back home, you can see that. I can say everywhere, wait quiet. Son, don't be angry. You know. And said unto him, Son, you have always been with me, and all that I have now is yours. Until not here. Oh my God. May I never lose. I consider most people can't even stand up again. Are you blessed today?